There's the mythical quote, and who said it, I don't know. Nobody seems to know. It's been attributed to a number of people in the 1980s. Every word of Irish spoken as a bullet
Yeah.
fired in Irish unity, and it's disputed who said that, if anybody said that. Now, I think that's the genesis of where Unionists would have started to have seen Irish being adopted as something that would have been neutral into something that was being used to assert cultural rights. And then I think we see with Gerry Adams in 2014 when he said, equality is the Trojan horse that we're going to use. And I think, that was very clearly in the context that equality for the language was going to be weaponized in the way that the conflict, which he, of course, was not part of, had been weaponized. So I think, those sorts of quotes are what I mean by this has been weaponized. Look, now I do think there is a distinction between people who are political activists who are weaponizing the language, and then there are other people who, genuinely love language, genuinely want language to be retained on both sides of the piece, Ulster Scots and Irish. So there is a distinction, and two things can happen at the same time. There can be people who want to preserve something that should be preserved. And for the record, I think all languages should be preserved. Irish is a language that should be preserved. I think academically speaking, culturally speaking, it would be ridiculous for any language to be consigned to the dustbin of history. But I think clearly, and to answer the question directly, there is a belief within unionism, and you may disagree with that belief, but as a clearly held belief, and not held by a minority of unionists, Irish language is something that is seen, I think, by a majority of unionists, an overwhelming majority of unionists, I would say upwards of 80% or more, to be something that is weaponized against unionism.